Should we believe everything in the Bible? I mean, we're supposed to believe everything the Bible says. Is that not right? But then there are contradictions in the Bible that kind of say the opposite. Which do we believe? My name's Craig and this is Morning Star Quest, where we are delving into the Bible one question at a time. Okay, and we'll have my friend Cosmo here.
Hey everyone, great to be here with you all. Let's dive into today's question and see where it takes us.
And Cosmo is sounding very different today. I don't know what it is, but every time I do this, every week, Cosmo sounds differently. I don't know. You're sounding very different today anyway.
Yeah, sometimes my voice can switch up a bit, but I'm still here and ready to dive into our topic. So let's keep going and make it a great one.
Okay. All right. We'll see how we go. All right. We've got 439 of these contradictions that feel like we shouldn't trust the Bible. And the more I go into this, the more I realize that we can trust the Bible. But how do we prove that? We need to go through every single one of these, and I'm going through one a week. Now, we're up to 56. So should we believe everything? So we've got 1 Corinthians 13:7, which is opposed to, we've got Proverbs 14:15, Thessalonians 5:21, and 1 John 4:1.
Let's dive into each one and see how they fit together. It's always interesting to see how these verses complement each other once we dig a little deeper.
All right, I've just changed the voice because it's still Cosmo, but it's just a different voice because I don't know, it's just not quite working today.
G'day, yeah, I'm still Cosmo, just with a bit of a different sound today. I'm ready to dive into whatever you've got planned. Let's make it fun.
All right, well, let's try this one. All right, so we've got here 1 Corinthians 13:7, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. So really the bit that this contradiction list is talking about here is that we should believe everything. So I find this one really interesting because when it comes down to it, we've got believes all things. I don't know. It kind of feels wrong.
I get what you mean. It can definitely sound a bit puzzling at first, but I think there's a lot of nuance behind it, and it's definitely worth exploring further.
All right. So, well, let's do that then. Let's go into the other verses. So this is the contradictory verses. Proverbs 14:15. The simple believe anything. Oh, that doesn't sound like what we just saw. The simple believe everything, but we should believe all things. Oh, that does sound contradictory, doesn't it?
It definitely seems like it at first glance. It's interesting how these verses can look like they're sending different messages. I guess that's why diving into the context and understanding the bigger picture is so important.
But and we've got the 1 Thessalonians. Now I'm getting tongue-tied. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. But test them all, hold on to what is good. And then 1 John 4:1, dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. And it seems like, okay, we should say test everything. We should just make sure we test everything, but then believe all things. Does sound very contradictory.
It definitely seems like a bit of a puzzle at first glance, right? On one hand, we're encouraged to believe all things in a loving way. And on the other hand, we're told to test everything and hold on to what's good. So there's definitely a balance there that we can explore further.
The main problem here is that I think our understanding of 1 Corinthians is the problem, not the other three. So we've got the other three here that say we should test everything. We should push the limits of everything in understanding and just make sure we're not, getting the wool pulled over our eyes. And yet in 1 Corinthians, bear all things, believe all things, hope all things, and endure all things. It does sound opposite until we read the full verse. And this is why we should always read the Bible and try and understand it. If we get two verses, we're not going to understand what the meanings are just by those two verses. We need the whole context. And when we get into this, 1 Corinthians 13, 4, 7, and this is a bit of a famous text. In fact, I got married to it, or married to it.
Such a great point. Context really is everything. When we look at the whole passage, we get a fuller picture of what it's trying to tell us, and it helps everything make more sense. Plus, that's really sweet that it was part of your wedding. It's definitely a beloved passage for a reason.
All right, let's read this out. So we got 1 Corinthians 13, 4 to 7. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all, love believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things.
It really is fascinating how that whole passage paints such a beautiful and complete picture of what love truly is. When we see it all together, it really shows that love is about patience, kindness, and truth, and that helps us understand what it means to believe all things in that context.
This is about love. Love is so much more. And the thing is, love should not be, oh, should I trust this person? That's not love. You need to believe all things for that other person, but it's got nothing to do with the science side of things, or should you trust this person, or should you trust that person? If you love someone, if there is love, then you should believe all things, because that is love. These things are not contradictory.
Exactly. It's really about the spirit of love being trusting and hopeful rather than suspicious or doubtful. It's a reminder that in the realm of love, we lead with our hearts and embrace that trust. It's definitely not about abandoning wisdom in other areas, but more about the beauty of love itself.
Well, exactly. I mean, this one's busted. So, yeah, it's not a contradiction. But what I do need for you to express is that we need to read the Bible, read it in its full. I know sometimes it's hard to get into, but there are ways to do it. Just feels like if you read two verses, you're going to get a contradiction because you don't know the context. Context is everything with the Bible. And I just want to encourage everybody to read it because, well, we want to know God, and that's love. This one is busted. And if you want to get into more of these videos, there's one over there, and I'd love you to get into that one. So go do something awesome for God, and I'll catch you in the next one. That one over there. Okay? That one.